Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I had a craving for a burrito. So I have a little butter in my pan and I have some riced cauliflower. I got the steam in the bag kind. I cooked that in the microwave and now I'm just pouring it into my pan to get it nice and warm, kind of make sure that it's really dried out because sometimes it can be a little bit liquidy when it first comes out of the microwave. So I'm just going to stir that around in my pan. Here I have some garlic paste. I get mine from Aldi and I'm just going to put about a tablespoon or so, maybe a little less, of that garlic into the pan with my rice. Get that all stirred up and incorporated into the rice. And I'm going to put some cracked Himalayan salt into the pan as well as some cracked black peppercorn to flavor that up as well. Okay, and because I'm trying to make this riced cauliflower to be something like the rice that they have at Chipotle, I'm going to add some cilantro to it. And I get this kind, it's by Lighthouse. It's like a dried cilantro, but you refresh it by adding it to some water. So that's what I did. It kind of just rejuvenates it, brings it back to life. So I'm just adding my cilantro into the rice. So next I wanted to add some lime to my riced cauliflower. I did not have any fresh lime, so I used my Young Living lime essential oil and put several drops of that into my riced cauliflower. I do like to cook with my oils from time to time, like the lime and the lemon and the tangerine ones. I do incorporate those into my cooking. They are safe for consumption, so I added that to my rice. But certainly, if you had fresh lime, I'm sure it would have tasted even that much better. So here I have some low-carb tortillas. There are 5 net carbs per tortilla. I do not use these very often ever, but I did happen to have these in the house that day, so I did go ahead and use a couple. You'll see later on in the video that I had to actually end up using 2 of the tortillas because these definitely are not the same size of tortillas that they use at Chipotle. I made a carne asada dish in the crock pot, cooked it on low for 9 hours. I will link the recipe below. It's wonderful. I think you guys would enjoy it. So I start to fill my tortilla with the riced cauliflower. And then on top of that, I will put my carne asada. And like I said, I will link that recipe below. Now I have made like the bowls like they do at Chipotle at home before. And I've made chicken ones and beef ones. And there are definitely some better recipes out there too for the meat that you will fill your burrito with, or if you make a bowl. There's so many good recipes out there, especially on Pinterest. I'm telling you what, they taste exactly like the meat that they make at Chipotle. So this carne asada one was good, but I've also made better ones. So here is some fresh salsa. I did pick this up from Sam's Club. I do believe there are 2 net carbs per 3 tablespoons. So I did go ahead and put a couple tablespoons of that into my burrito as well. And then I went ahead and I added a little bit of Mexican shredded cheese on top of my burrito for the final touch. And now I am going to go ahead, and I know they generally don't do this at Chipotle, but I felt like putting my burrito into a pan and crisping it up some. So I started with a tablespoon of the Kerrygold grass-fed butter. I got that into my pan and just let that start to get hot and bubbly. And once the butter is all melted nice and good in the pan, I went ahead and I put my large burrito in. As you can see, it's I overstuffed it big time, so I was not able to fold it up like I would a regular burrito, but that's okay. You'll see later that I did end up putting another tortilla on top of it because it would have never stayed together. It would have been more like a taco, and then it would have all been falling out. So yeah, here is my burrito. I went ahead and got it crispy on both sides. And then once it got all done cooking up in the pan, I went ahead and I added my toppings. So here's what my finished burrito ended up looking like. Nice and crispy on the outside. I ended up cutting it in half, and I did only end up eating half of the burrito. So it has that rice cauliflower in there and the carne asada. Oh, it was so yummy. It would have been so good too if I would have fried up some onions and peppers and put that in along with everything else. I think that would have been so good. There's so many different variations. Again, usually I make the bowls, like the chipotle bowls at home. I generally don't make the burritos, so this was different for me. But I just had such a craving for a burrito on this day. I don't even know why that was. Put some sour cream on top of it. I did make some homemade guacamole, and I put that on top of it as well. And then I went ahead and I topped it with a little bit more salsa. And again, like I said, I did only end up eating half of the burrito because it did end up getting pretty carby since I ended up adding 2 tortillas. So what I did is I had part of it for lunch, and then later on that day, I had the rest of it for dinner. So all in all, it really wasn't too bad. It turned out so great. I highly recommend making it. So next I wanted to show you guys what I ended up making for dinner one night as well. And I actually ended up using the rest of the rice cauliflower that I made the day that I made the, chipotle style burrito. So I added that into some ground beef that I had already cooked up earlier in the week. And I had also put in some green bell peppers. And I added a little bit of bacon grease into the pan as well, and just started to get that nice and heated up. My thinking behind this was that I was going to make some sort of like a ground beef stir fry, but then at the last minute I decided to change my mind and take a bit of a different turn on this. I added to the pan about a tablespoon of the grass-fed Kerrygold butter. I went ahead and I added a little bit of garlic salt to my dish as well to give it a little bit more flavor. Once the butter was all nice and melted, I did add a few splashes of heavy whipping cream. I decided to make this dish with a little bit of a creamy sauce instead of what I had initially planned to do, which was a stir fry. And so I let that heavy whipping cream go ahead and just simmer in there with everything for a little bit. And as you can see, I did go ahead and add some Parmesan cheese to the dish as well. And it kind of made a bit of just a creamy Alfredo kind of tasting sauce. It ended up turning out so good. I was so glad that I ended up changing my mind this night. It was just a really simple and good dish. So yeah, got everything stirred around, and this is what the final product looked like. It was really hot here in the bowl, but it was just so yummy and good. So that's a really good meal idea for you guys. Here's just one more meal that I made this week. A 6-ounce steak with some green peppers, onion, and mushrooms, and some jalapeno poppers. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I so appreciate it. Please subscribe for future videos. Catch you in the next one. Bye.